the Stoic Guide to Building Relationships That Light Up Your Life. Hey there, have you ever found yourself stuck in a relationship way longer than you should have, holding on to a flicker of hope that things would somehow turn around? Maybe you've brushed aside those glaring red flags, like the constant excuses, the half-hearted apologies, or that nagging feeling in your gut, clinging to a fantasy of what could be if only they'd change. Or perhaps you felt yourself drifting further from who you really are, twisting yourself into knots just to keep the peace, sacrificing your own voice to avoid rocking the boat. I've been in that exact spot, and let me tell you, it's an exhausting roller coaster, one that leaves you drained, confused, and wondering why you're still holding on. But what if I dropped a bombshell on you right now? What if there's a way to break free from those soul-sucking connections and start building a life brimming with relationships that lift you up, inspire you, and fill your days with genuine joy? Today, we're embarking on an incredible journey back in time to tap into the ancient wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy that's been guiding people for centuries to live with purpose and strength. We're going to uncover how you can see people for who they truly are, not the polished version you hope they'll become. We'll explore how to stand tall in your values, even when the world tries to pull you off course. And most importantly, we'll learn how to create bonds that bring you deep peace and unstoppable growth. This isn't just about patching up a few shaky relationships, it's about transforming your entire life, turning it into a masterpiece where every connection fuels your happiness and purpose. Picture this. You wake up each day surrounded by people who get you, who cheer you on, who make you feel like the best version of yourself. That's the life we're building here, and it starts with a shift in how you approach the people around you. So, grab a notebook. Yes, seriously, you'll want to jot this down. Get comfy, maybe pour yourself a cup of tea or coffee, and let's dive into this Stoic adventure together. I'm your guide, and I can't wait to walk this path with you, uncovering secrets that have stood the test of time. If you're ready to choose connections that light up your life like a fireworks display on a summer night, stick around. We're peeling back the layers of what makes relationships thrive, or crumble, and I promise, you're going to walk away with practical tools you can use starting today. Have you ever felt like you're carrying the weight of a relationship that's gone off the rails? Or maybe you've wondered how to spot the difference between a connection worth fighting for and one that's holding you back. You're not alone, and this video is tailor-made for you. We'll tackle it all, step by step, story by story, because you deserve a life filled with people who make your heart sing, not ones who leave you questioning your worth. So, let's get started. Let's unlock the power of Stoicism and build relationships that truly light up your world. Seeing people as they really are. Let's dive right in with a reality check, something the Stoics were absolute pros at delivering. Imagine this scenario. You're in a relationship, could be with a partner, a close friend, or even a family member, and your mind keeps drifting to who they could be. You're caught in this loop, whispering to yourself, if they just put in a bit more effort, if they'd open up and communicate better, if they'd show up for me the way I show up for them, then everything would be perfect. Sound familiar? I lived this exact cycle for years with someone I was dating. I'd constantly overlook the red flags, the endless excuses, the lack of effort, the way they'd flake on plans without a second thought. Instead, I'd fixate on this idealized version of them I'd painted in my head, a dream where they were everything I wanted them to be. I convinced myself that if I just loved them harder or waited long enough, they'd transform into that person. Spoiler alert, they didn't. Here's the unfiltered truth the Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, would want you to hear loud and clear. People are who they are, not who you hope they'll become. The Stoics were all about cutting through the fog of wishful thinking to see reality for what it is. No filters, no excuses. They'd urge you to step back and look at your relationships with honest, unflinching eyes. Are you holding on to a fantasy that's miles away from what's actually happening? Are you brushing off patterns that are screaming the truth, like someone who consistently disrespects your time, dismisses your feelings like they don't matter, or breaks promises over and over again? Those aren't just hiccups, they're signs of who they are, right here, right now. I'll be real with you. Facing this can be brutal. When I finally admitted to myself that my partner wasn't going to change, it felt like a punch to the gut. I'd spent so much time hoping, waiting, and justifying their behavior that letting go of that dream version of them hurt. But here's the flip side, that clarity was also incredibly liberating. It was like a weight lifted off my shoulders. I stopped waiting for a miracle that was never coming, and instead, I started focusing on what I could control, my own choices, my own path. That shift gave me back my power, and it opened the door to relationships that were actually worth my energy. So, let's do this together right now. Let's get real. Think of one relationship in your life, someone who's been on your mind lately, maybe keeping you up at night. Ask yourself this question, and don't hold back. Am I seeing this person as they truly are, or am I clinging to a version of them I hope they'll become? Be brutally honest with yourself. Grab a pen and paper if you can, and jot down what you notice. Their actions, their patterns, the way they show up, not the hopes you've been holding on to. Facing reality isn't easy, it takes guts, but it's the first step to building connections that are grounded in truth, not illusions. And trust me, those are the relationships that bring real, lasting meaning to your life. They're the ones that don't just take up space but actually fill your heart with purpose and joy. So, let's take that first step together. What do you see when you look with clear eyes? Staying true to your values. Now that we're looking at our relationships with clear, honest eyes, let's dive into something the Stoics would say you absolutely cannot budge on: your values. The Stoics believed your values are like a compass that guides you through life. They steer every decision you make, every step you take, pointing you toward a path of integrity and purpose. Living with integrity means holding tight to those principles, even when the world around you feels like a whirlwind trying to pull you off course. So, if a relationship is nudging you to compromise what you hold dear, that's not just a red flag, it's a massive neon sign flashing, "Pay attention!" Let's think about how this might sneak into your life in subtle ways. Maybe you're going along with something that feels dishonest just to dodge a fight, like nodding along to a lie because it's the easier route. Or perhaps it's something heavier, like ignoring your sense of fairness because someone's pressuring you to turn a blind eye to what's right. I've been there myself, and it's a slippery slope. I had a friend who was obsessed with gossip, always spilling the tea about everyone in our circle. She'd dish out these snarky, cutting remarks, and everyone would laugh. But I value kindness, it's a core part of who I am, and her negativity clashed with that big time. For a while, I went along with it, trying to fit in. I'd chuckle at the shady comments, even though inside, I felt this gnawing unease. Deep down, I knew I was betraying myself. Every time I joined in, I felt a little less like the person I wanted to be, like I was chipping away at my own soul, leaving behind a hollow version of me. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, would have looked at me in that moment and said, "Don't do that, stay true to who you are." And honestly, he'd be spot on. Relationships should lift up your values, not challenge them to the point where you don't even recognize the reflection staring back at you. When you start bending your principles to keep someone around, you're not just compromising, you're eroding your core, and that emptiness doesn't just disappear. It lingers, whispering doubts about who you've become. So, let's pause and reflect for a second. Is there a connection in your life right now that's asking you to be someone you're not? Maybe it's a friend who drags you into drama, stirring up chaos when you crave peace. Or maybe it's a partner who expects you to compromise your honesty, pushing you to act in ways that feel wrong. What's that doing to you, really? How does it feel to bend like that? For me, I knew I had to set some boundaries with my gossip-loving friend. I sat her down and said, "Hey, I'm not comfortable with all the negativity, it doesn't sit right with me." It didn't change her overnight, but it gave me a way to protect my values, to hold on to the kindness I believe in. Sometimes, though, boundaries aren't enough. If you've tried talking, tried adjusting, and the pressure to compromise keeps coming, like a wave that won't stop crashing, walking away might be your best option. That's not failure, my friend, that's courage. You're choosing to honor who you are, and that's everything. So, what's one step you can take today to protect your values in a relationship? Maybe it's saying no to something that doesn't feel right, or starting a conversation about what truly matters to you. Whatever it is, take that step. You're worth it, and your values are the foundation of the life you're building. The power of communication. All right, let's zoom in on something that can absolutely make or break any relationship: communication. When it's flowing smoothly, it feels like pure magic, like you're both on the same wavelength, understanding each other's thoughts and feelings without even trying. It's that beautiful moment where you finish each other's sentences or share a look that says everything without a word. But when communication breaks down, oh, it's like a neon sign flashing in your face, screaming that something deeper is seriously off. The Stoics knew this better than anyone. They were huge on clear, honest communication, always mixing reason with a big dose of empathy to truly connect with others on a meaningful level. I've seen this play out firsthand in my own life, and let me tell you, it can be frustrating. I had a friend who would go completely silent every single time I tried to bring up something important. I'd pour my heart out, laying all my feelings on the table, and they just shut down, like a wall went up, leaving me in the dark, guessing what I did wrong. It was maddening, to say the least. Maybe you've been there too. Maybe you've got someone in your life who twists your words, turning every conversation into a heated argument, or someone who just doesn't seem to hear you, no matter how loudly you're trying to get through. When your conversations lead to dead ends, when misunderstandings keep piling up like a stack of bricks, or when you can't find any common ground to stand on, it's time to take a closer look at what's really going on. Marcus Aurelius, one of the wisest Stoics, would tell us to take a step back, look at the situation with fresh, objective eyes, and approach it with empathy. That means really listening, not just sitting there, waiting for your turn to speak, but truly hearing what the other person is saying, digging into what's behind their words, their tone, their silences. Then, it's about sharing your own needs clearly and respectfully, without pointing fingers or playing the blame game. I gave this a shot with my friend. I slowed down, really listened to those heavy silences, and then I said, as calmly as I could, "I feel so disconnected when we can't talk about this. Can we find a way to open up to each other?" It didn't magically fix everything, but it revealed a hard truth. They just weren't ready to communicate on the level I needed. That clarity was tough, but it helped me see what I was really dealing with. If you've tried this approach, if you've listened with your whole heart, spoken honestly, and the disconnect still lingers like a stubborn fog, it might be a sign that the relationship isn't sustainable. Healthy connections thrive on mutual understanding, not endless guesswork that leaves you drained. You shouldn't have to spend all your energy decoding someone's cryptic messages or walking on eggshells just to keep things civil. So, let's reflect for a moment. Think about a relationship where communication feels off right now. Maybe it's a friend, a partner, or a family member. How can you approach it with more clarity and empathy today? Maybe it's asking a simple, open-ended question to understand their perspective, like, "Can you help me see where you're coming from on this?" Or perhaps it's sharing how you feel in a way that invites dialogue, like, "I'd love for us to talk more openly. Can we work on that together?" Whatever it is, take that step today. Communication is the lifeblood of any relationship. It's what keeps it alive and thriving, so let's make sure it's flowing freely, bringing you closer instead of pulling you apart. Protecting your inner peace. Now, let's dive into something we all crave deep down: peace. The Stoics placed tranquility right at the heart of what it means to live a good life, that unshakable inner calm that holds steady, even when the world around you feels like a chaotic mess. If a relationship is constantly throwing you off balance, leaving you stressed, anxious, or unsettled, that's a massive red flag waving in your face. Relationships should be your sources of strength and joy, like a warm hug on a tough day, not storms that disrupt your calm and leave you scrambling to find your footing. I've lived this firsthand, and it's a lesson I'll never forget. I had a colleague once who was like a walking hurricane, always tangled up in some kind of drama, gossip, or fresh conflict. Every single time we talked, I'd walk away feeling rattled, like I'd just been swept into an emotional whirlwind I never signed up for. It wasn't a one-time thing, it was every interaction, and it started to take a real toll on me. I'd leave our conversations with my heart racing, my mind spinning, replaying what just happened and wondering why I felt so off. Stoicism stepped in like a wise friend, nudging me to reflect. Why is this messing with my peace so much? Is there something I can do to change this dynamic? I decided to set some boundaries. I kept things strictly professional, dodged the drama, and focused on my own tasks. But no matter how hard I tried, the chaos kept coming, like a storm that refused to let up. In the end, I knew I had to distance myself, and let me tell you, the relief hit me like a tidal wave. My calm came rushing back, washing away the tension I didn't even realize I'd been carrying for so long. It was like I could finally breathe again, and it showed me just how much our relationships can impact our inner peace, for better or for worse. So, let's take a moment to check in with ourselves. Does this relationship support my tranquility, or does it throw me off balance? Think about someone in your life right now. Maybe a friend, a partner, or a coworker. Do they bring you a sense of stability and joy, the kind that makes you feel grounded and safe? Or do they leave you feeling drained, on edge, like you're constantly bracing for the next storm? If it's the latter, you don't have to just sit there and take it. You've got options. Start with a conversation. Let them know how their actions are affecting you, and see if they're willing to make a shift. If that doesn't work, it's time to set firmer boundaries. Maybe that means limiting how much time you spend together, or steering clear of topics that always lead to chaos. And if the storm keeps raging, even after you've done your part, stepping away might be the best choice for you. This isn't about cutting people off just because, it's about protecting your peace, creating space for relationships that feel like a safe harbor, not a hurricane tearing through your life. So, what's one thing you can do today to protect your tranquility? Maybe it's saying no to a draining hangout that you know will leave you feeling off, or taking a break from someone who's been overwhelming you with their chaos. Whatever it is, take that step. Your peace is worth it, and no one should have the power to take that away from you. Let's prioritize your calm, because you deserve a life filled with relationships that feel like a gentle breeze, not a thunderstorm. A Stoic toolkit for better relationships. We've covered a ton of ground so far, spotting illusions that cloud your judgment, standing firm in your values, mastering the art of communication, and guarding your precious peace. Now, let's bring it all together with a practical Stoic toolkit you can start using today to assess, improve, or even let go of relationships that aren't serving you. This isn't about chasing some unattainable perfection. It's about making intentional, thoughtful choices that align with your personal growth and that deep, inner tranquility you deserve. Think of this as your go-to guide, a roadmap to navigate the wild world of relationships with confidence and clarity. So, let's break it down into actionable steps you can dive into right now. Let's get you equipped to take charge of your connections. Step 1. Pause and reflect. When a relationship starts feeling off, like a subtle unease you can't quite shake, don't just keep plowing ahead like everything's fine. Stop. Take a breath. Ask yourself some big questions. Is this connection helping me grow into the person I want to be? Is it bringing me peace, that calm I crave deep down? Does it align with the values that define who I am? This isn't about overanalyzing every little thing. It's about checking in with your gut. Journaling is your secret weapon here. Grab a notebook, pour out your thoughts, let it all spill onto the page, and see what patterns emerge. Maybe you'll notice a trend of frustration or a spark of joy you didn't expect. This pause is your first move toward understanding what's really going on beneath the surface. Step 2. Face reality. Alright, let's get real. Look at the relationship for what it actually is, not the rosy picture you might be wishing it could be. Are you ignoring red flags because you're caught up in hope, dreaming of a version of them that doesn't exist? It's easy to do. I've been there, holding on to someone because I believed they'd change if I just waited long enough. Instead, write down the facts, their actions, their consistent patterns, not the fantasies you've built up in your mind. Be honest, even if it stings like a paper cut. Maybe they're always late, dismissive, or breaking promises. Seeing the truth might hurt at first, but it's like ripping off a band-aid. It's the only way to heal and move forward with clarity. Step 3. Communicate clearly. If something's not working, don't let it fester like an untreated wound. Talk about it. Be honest, but weave in kindness and empathy so it's a conversation, not a showdown. Share what you need in a way that opens the door, and really listen to their perspective. Dig into what they're feeling, not just what they're saying. A good, heartfelt conversation can reveal so much about where you both stand. I once had a talk with a friend who'd been distant, and I said, "I've noticed we're not connecting like we used to. Can we figure this out together?" It didn't solve everything, but it showed me where the cracks were, and that was a start. Step 4. Set boundaries. Protect your energy and your values by being crystal clear about what you'll accept and what you won't. Saying no to what doesn't serve you isn't selfish. It's an act of self-respect, a declaration that you matter. Maybe that means limiting contact with someone who leaves you exhausted, or firmly saying, "I'm not okay with that kind of behavior." I set a boundary with a coworker who loved to vent endlessly. I kept it professional and redirected the chat to work only. It wasn't easy, but it saved my sanity. Step 5. Seek balance. Take a hard look. Does this relationship feel mutual? Are you both giving and receiving, or is it all one-sided, with you doing the heavy lifting? If it's uneven, address it head-on. Try saying, "I've noticed I'm always the one reaching out. Can we find a better balance?" If nothing shifts after that, it might be a signal to rethink the connection. I had a friend who never initiated plans, and when I brought it up, they didn't budge, so I adjusted how much effort I put in, and it clarified things fast. Step 6. Honor your values. Never, ever compromise your core principles just to keep someone in your life. Relationships should mirror who you are, not drag you away from your true self. If you're bending too much, like laughing at jokes that hurt your sense of kindness, it's a neon sign to step back. I once stopped hanging out with someone who pushed me to join in on shady gossip because it clashed with my integrity, and that choice felt like reclaiming a piece of myself. Step 7. Protect your dignity. If there's any form of abuse or disrespect, whether it's physical, emotional, or verbal, put yourself first, no questions asked. Seek help from friends, family, or a hotline, and take bold steps to walk away. You deserve better, always. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. I know someone who left a toxic situation with support from loved ones, and it was the hardest but most empowering move they ever made. Step 8. Cultivate tranquility. Surround yourself with people who support your inner calm, not those who disrupt it with chaos. Let go of the drama and embrace joy. Seek out those who make you feel steady and uplifted. After distancing myself from that hurricane colleague, I found friends who brought peace, and it transformed my days. Step 9. Reflect daily. At the end of each day, take 5 minutes to journal. Did my relationships lift me up today? Where can I improve? This builds self-awareness and keeps you intentional. I started this habit, and it helped me spot which connections needed tweaking, and it's been a game changer. Step 10. Seek support. If letting go or navigating a tough dynamic feels like too much, don't go it alone. Lean on friends, family, or a therapist. There's incredible strength in asking for help. I reached out to a mentor during a rough patch, and their guidance made all the difference. Step 11. Practice gratitude. Take a moment each day to appreciate the positive relationships in your life. Write down one thing you're thankful for about a friend, family member, or partner. Gratitude shifts your focus to what's working and strengthens those bonds. I started thanking a friend for their support weekly, and it deepened our connection. Step 12. Embrace growth opportunities. View every interaction as a chance to learn and evolve. Ask yourself, what can this relationship teach me? Whether it's patience, forgiveness, or resilience, lean into the lessons with an open heart. I learned to handle conflict better after a challenging talk, and it made me stronger. These steps are your toolkit, a living framework to guide you. Pick one to try today, and watch how it shifts your relationships toward growth and peace. You've got this. Let's make your connections shine. Stories of transformation. Let's bring these powerful Stoic ideas to life with a couple of real-world stories that show just how transformative this approach can be. These aren't just theories. They're proof of how Stoicism can guide you through the toughest relationship challenges and lead you to a brighter, more authentic life. First, let me introduce you to Sarah, a close friend of mine who found herself trapped in a relationship that was slowly draining the life out of her. Her partner was the kind of person who could light up a room with his charm in seconds. Think smooth talk, a dazzling smile, the whole package. Everyone adored him. But behind that magnetic exterior, there was a controlling side that wasn't so charming. He discouraged Sarah from chasing her passions, like her deep love for painting or her dream of traveling the world to soak in new cultures. Instead, he'd push her toward practical things, jobs she didn't care about, routines that bored her, telling her those dreams were frivolous. Over time, Sarah started to fade. She stopped picking up her paintbrushes, shelved her travel plans, and dimmed that vibrant, creative spirit that made her, well, Sarah. She was molding herself to fit his expectations, and it was like watching a flower wilt under a heavy shadow. But then Stoicism entered her world like a ray of light. Sarah began reflecting on her core values: freedom, creativity, self-expression, and it hit her like a thunderbolt. This relationship wasn't love, it was manipulation dressed up as care. She deserved better than being boxed into someone else's vision for her life. Armed with that clarity, she made the tough call to end things. It wasn't a walk in the park. She wrestled with guilt, wondering if she'd failed, and loneliness crept in as she adjusted to life without him. But she pushed through, and let me tell you, it was the right move. Today, Sarah is thriving in a way I've never seen before. She's back to painting, filling canvases with bold, swirling colors that reflect her joy and freedom. She's traveled solo to places like Italy and Thailand, places she'd only dreamed of, and there's this incredible peace that radiates from her now, like she's finally home in herself. Letting go gave her the space to reclaim her autonomy, to rediscover who she is, and she's never looked back. Her story is a testament to the power of Stoic reflection. It can set you free when you're brave enough to act on it. Then there's Mike, a guy whose story hits close to home for anyone who's held onto a friendship past its prime. Mike had a childhood friend he adored. Think late-night talks under the stars, shared adventures like camping trips and road trips, the kind of bond that feels unbreakable, forged over years of memories. They were inseparable, the kind of friends you'd bet on lasting forever. But over time, his friend changed. He turned negative, always dismissive, throwing out snarky comments that cut Mike down instead of lifting him up. It started small, little jabs at his choices, but it grew into a pattern that left Mike feeling small. Mike kept hoping they'd go back to the good old days, clinging to those golden memories like a lifeline. But stoic reflection opened his eyes. He wasn't holding on to a friend, he was clinging to a memory, a version of the past that no longer existed. With that realization, Mike took action. He had an honest talk, laying out how he felt, and set some boundaries to protect his peace. When nothing changed, when the negativity kept rolling in, he made the hard decision to let go. And here's the beautiful part. He didn't do it with anger or bitterness. He let go with gratitude for the years they'd shared, honoring the good while releasing the rest. Now, Mike's surrounded by friends who lift him up, who celebrate his wins with genuine cheers instead of snarky digs. He's happier than ever, radiating a confidence that comes from choosing himself, and it all started with that one brave stoic step. These stories aren't just inspiring, they're proof that letting go isn't giving up, it's making space for connections that align with your peace and growth. Sarah and Mike didn't just survive their challenges, they thrived by using stoic principles to guide their choices. Sarah reclaimed her passions, and Mike rebuilt his circle with people who reflect his best self. So, let's turn the spotlight on you for a moment. Think about your own life. Is there a relationship where you're holding on to a memory instead of facing the reality of who that person is today? Maybe it's a partner you keep hoping will change, a friend whose negativity you've excused for too long, or a family member whose expectations are pulling you away from your truth. What can you learn from Sarah and Mike? Their journeys show that clarity, courage, and a willingness to let go can open doors to a life filled with relationships that light you up. Take Sarah's story. Her partner's charm masked control, and it took reflection to see the manipulation for what it was. She could have stayed, hoping he'd soften, but she chose herself instead. What about you? Are you overlooking control or disrespect because of someone's charisma or history with you? Mike's tale teaches us that even the deepest bonds can shift, and holding on to a ghost of the past can weigh you down. He found freedom in setting boundaries and letting go with gratitude. Could that be a lesson for a friendship that's lost its spark? These stories invite you to ask, where am I stuck? Where can I apply stoic wisdom to move forward? The beauty of this approach is that it's not about cutting ties recklessly, it's about intentional choices. Sarah didn't rush, she reflected and acted when the time was right. Mike didn't burn bridges, he honored the past while stepping into a better present. You can do the same. Start by reflecting on one relationship that feels off. Write down what's real, their actions, not your hopes. Then, consider, what would Sarah or Mike do? Maybe it's a conversation to test the waters, a boundary to protect your energy, or a step back to reclaim your peace. These stories prove it's possible. Your transformation is waiting. So, what's one lesson you'll take from Sarah and Mike today? How will you start applying it to your own life? Let's make this journey yours, your peace, your growth, your story. Why this matters. So, why does all of this stoic wisdom really matter? Let's get to the heart of it. The people you choose to surround yourself with shape your entire life in ways you might not even realize. They influence how you feel every single day, whether you're waking up with a big, genuine smile, excited for what's ahead, or dreading the next drama that's bound to erupt. They impact the decisions you make, subtly nudging you toward paths that either align with your deepest goals or pull you way off course, leaving you lost in the weeds. They shape the very direction of your life, either lighting up your path like a beacon of hope or casting long, heavy shadows that dim your spark. Choosing relationships wisely isn't just about dodging conflict or keeping things smooth on the surface. It's about building a life that's rich, meaningful, and true to the core of who you are. When you're surrounded by people who truly respect you, who cheer on your dreams with all their heart, who inspire you to be better every day, you don't just feel happier, you feel unstoppable, like you can conquer anything that comes your way. I've experienced this transformation myself, and it's nothing short of incredible. When I started surrounding myself with friends who shared my values, people who valued honesty, kindness, and growth like I did, everything changed. These were the kind of friends who cheered me on when I took risks, who believed in me even when I doubted myself, instead of dragging me down with negativity or doubt. My whole outlook shifted. I felt lighter, like a weight I didn't even know I was carrying had been lifted. I felt more confident, like I could take on the world, because I had a crew who had my back. Stoicism gives you the tools to make those choices with clarity and courage. It's not about being harsh or cutting everyone off without a second thought. It's about loving yourself enough to say, I deserve connections that make me better, that bring out the best in me. And here's the best part, the cherry on top. When you make these intentional choices, it sets off a beautiful ripple effect that touches everyone around you. Your peace becomes contagious, inspiring others to find their own calm in the storm. Your strength encourages those around you to stand taller, to tap into their own resilience. Your relationships deepen, blossoming into bonds rooted in mutual respect, trust, and growth, connections that feel solid and real, not fragile or forced. Imagine a life where your inner circle feels like a vibrant garden of joy and support, where every interaction lifts you up, filling you with energy and warmth. That's what we're building here, a life that reflects your highest values, surrounded by people who don't just share your space but help you shine brighter than you ever thought possible. That's the power of Stoic wisdom. It's not just about you. It's about creating a life that inspires everyone around you to grow, too. So, let's keep building that garden, one intentional relationship at a time. Your Stoic journey begins. We're nearing the end of this video, but let me be clear, this is just the beginning of your Stoic journey, and it's going to be an incredible ride. Stoicism isn't a one-and-done deal, something you try once and then toss aside. No, it's a lifelong practice, a way of living that you build day by day, step by step, with every choice you make. It's about showing up for yourself consistently, weaving these ancient principles into the fabric of your life until they become second nature. So, let's start small and make it manageable. Pick just one tool from the toolkit we've explored today and give it a try right now. Maybe grab a journal and reflect on a relationship that's been weighing on your mind, pouring out your thoughts to gain some clarity. Or perhaps it's time to have that honest conversation with someone you care about, the one you've been putting off because it feels a little scary. Every single step you take, no matter how small it seems, is a step toward a life filled with tranquility, purpose, and unshakable inner peace. You're planting seeds today that will grow into something truly amazing tomorrow. I promise you that. If you're feeling inspired and want to dive deeper into Stoicism, I've got some recommendations to keep the momentum going. Start with the Stoics themselves. They're like wise old friends waiting to guide you. Marcus Aurelius's Meditations is an absolute gem. It's like having a mentor by your side, whispering timeless advice as you navigate life's challenges. Then there's Epictetus's Enchiridion. It's short, but don't let that fool you. It's packed with powerful insights that'll shift your perspective in a heartbeat. Seneca's Letters are another treasure, offering practical, down-to-earth advice for tackling everyday struggles with grace and wisdom. If you're looking for a modern twist, Ryan Holiday's The Daily Stoic is a fantastic way to bring these ideas into your daily routine. Think of it as your Stoic companion, giving you a little dose of wisdom each morning to set the tone for your day. These resources will deepen your understanding and keep you inspired as you walk this path. I'd love to hear from you now. This journey is a two-way street, and your stories mean the world to me. Drop a comment below and share a relationship challenge you're facing right now, or maybe a moment when you let go of a connection and grew from it. Your experiences could inspire someone else in this community. If this video resonated with you, if it sparked a new idea or a shift in how you see your relationships, give it a thumbs up. It helps more people find this wisdom. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and check out the playlist on your screen for more Stoic insights to keep you growing. We're in this together, building a life of purpose and peace, and I can't wait to keep exploring with you. So, what's your next step? Let's keep this journey going. Your Stoic adventure is just getting started, and I'm so excited to see where it takes you. Let's wrap up with a final reflection that'll linger with you long after this video ends. Take a moment to really think about this. Relationships are the heartbeat of your life. They pulse through your days, shaping who you are right now and who you're destined to become. They're the threads that weave the fabric of your story, influencing your moods, your dreams, and the paths you choose to walk. But here's the beautiful truth. Not every connection is meant to last forever, and that's more than okay. It's a natural part of growth. Stoicism teaches us to approach this with intention, to hold on to the relationships that lift us up, that fuel our spirits, and to let go of what holds us back, not with bitterness or resentment, but with gratitude for the lessons they've taught us and the courage to step boldly into the future. Every single relationship, whether it lasts a lifetime or a season, is a golden opportunity to practice those timeless Stoic virtues. There's wisdom to see things clearly, cutting through illusions to understand what's real. There's courage to make those tough calls, even when your heart wavers. There's justice to treat others with respect, honoring their journey as you honor your own. And there's temperance to stay balanced, keeping your emotions steady amidst the storm. By choosing your inner circle with care, you're not just protecting your peace. You're crafting a life that's a true, vibrant reflection of your best self, a masterpiece painted with intention and strength. It's like curating a gallery of people who bring out your brightest colors, not dim them. So, here's my challenge to you, something to carry into your day. Take one step today toward that life you deserve. Maybe it's taking a quiet moment to reflect on a relationship that's been on your mind, digging into what it's teaching you. Or perhaps it's setting a boundary to safeguard your energy, saying no to what drains you. Or maybe it's having that honest conversation you've been avoiding, opening the door to growth or closure. Whatever feels right for your journey toward growth and tranquility, do it. You've got the wisdom, the strength, and the heart to make it happen. I believe in you, and this is your moment to shine. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. It's been a privilege to explore these ideas with you. Keep practicing these Stoic principles, keep growing into the person you're meant to be, and keep choosing relationships that light up your life like a constellation of stars guiding your way. Until next time, stay stoic, stay strong, and let your inner peace lead you forward. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below with your reflections or a step you're taking, and I'll see you there or in the next video. Peace, my friends. Let's keep building a life that radiates with purpose and joy.